January 28, 1986, a day when the whole world held its breath, watching the launch of the Challenger space shuttle. Just 73 seconds later, something unimaginable and tragic occurred. What went wrong? Why did this day go down in history as one of the most tragic moments in space exploration? Let's find out. Challenger was one of NASA's flagship projects of the 1980s, a space shuttle designed for reusable missions. It was set to revolutionize space travel. The mission STS-51L was special, as it included Christa McAuliffe, a teacher who was to become the first civilian in space. This sparked massive public and media interest. Other members on board were Commander Francis Richard Dick Scooby, co-pilot Michael Smith, Flight Specialist Allison Onizuka, Flight Specialist Judith Resnick, Flight Specialist Ronald McNair, Payload Specialist Gregory Bruce Jarvis. For Scooby, Onizuki, Resnick, and McNair, it was their second space flight, while for the rest of the crew it was their first. It was supposed to be a celebration of science, education, and progress. But no one suspected it would become a tragedy. The day of the launch was cold, very cold. Temperatures in Florida dropped to a rare -1 degrees Celsius. Despite this, NASA decided to proceed with the mission. The main culprit of the disaster was a small component toe rings in the solid rocket boosters. These rings, designed to seal off hot gases from escaping, were sensitive to cold temperatures. Because of the cold, they lost their flexibility and failed to do their job. It might seem like a small detail, but in space, every detail matters. Hot gases escaped through the failed seal, causing a catastrophic failure of the fuel tank, which ultimately led to the explosion. 73 seconds. Challenger was airborne for only 73 seconds when everything went horribly wrong. In front of thousands of spectators at Cape Canaveral and millions watching on television, the shuttle exploded, leaving only a trail of smoke in the sky. It was a global shock. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. 7 crew members, including Christa McAuliffe, perished in that moment. The wreckage of the cockpit, with the remains of the bodies, was found on March 7, 1986. The crew remains were badly damaged and did not represent whole bodies. The exact cause of death of the astronauts could not be established. Following the disaster, a special investigation was launched, known as the Rogers Commission. It was tasked with determining exactly what went wrong. What they uncovered was a huge blow to NASA's reputation. It turned out that engineers who designed the O-rings had previously raised concerns about their performance in cold temperatures. But their warnings were ignored due to pressure to stick to the launch schedule. NASA was eager to show that the shuttles could fly frequently and on time. The Commission also found issues with NASA's organizational structure. There was a breakdown in communication between engineers and management, and a culture of success at all costs contributed to the disaster. If the launch had been delayed due to the cold, if the engineers' warnings had been heeded, if there had been more time for testing, everything could have been different. But the reality is that disasters like Challenger are harsh lessons that force us to rethink safety measures. These people were meant to live, to explore space, and to continue their incredible mission. But space is unforgiving, even to the smallest of mistakes. The Challenger disaster forced NASA to reevaluate its approach to safety. Every component is now checked multiple times. New communication protocols between technical staff and management were established. It was a reminder that human life must always come first. Challenger did not stop humanity's quest to explore space. Instead, it became a symbol of how we can learn from our mistakes and move forward, making space exploration safer for future generations. The Challenger tragedy forever changed space exploration. But every time we look at the stars, we remember the sacrifices made to make space more accessible. If you're interested in learning more about the history of space missions and disasters, make sure to subscribe, Put a like on this video, and in the next episode, we'll explore. See you in space.